How exciting is it to be here presenting on the 25th BIFAs, celebrating such a long time of wonderful English films?
Yeah, it's just going to be a lovely, lovely evening, and it is exciting because kind of I'm thinking about like the last 25 years, and I think I kind of remembered it when it first started. And I know Elliot Grove from 25 years ago, who's one of the founders, and I remember 25 years ago, probably when around train spotting. You know, my son was born about 25, 26. So like in the last like 25, 26 years, a lot has happened, and the independent film market's gone up and down, and you know, it gets hijacked, and other people think they're making independent, you know, they've kind of, but I think it really has its own kind of model. And I think, you know, watching all the talent in the being on the jury and all the films, I was just so excited. I was like, feels like it's going full circle. I think people are really hungry for it because I think people are fed up with all the kind of like, you know, the you know, all the kind of slightly vanilla, like all the same, and the big blockbusters. I like subtleties. I like, you know, all the like kind of all the contrasting movies, all the different. You know, I don't want everything to be the same.
Because some of the films this year that have been nominated have got, firstly, fantastic stories, but also very difficult ethical decisions layered into them. Do you think that's something that British independent film does very well?
Yeah, I think British independent film supports minorities and films in countries that have been really difficult to make that film, and you know, to give everyone recognition, to give everyone a chance, and that's what it's about. Everyone should have an opportunity, and that's what, you know, it's all about being inclusive and everyone just being able to make a movie and get on with it. You know, and I think it is changing in that sense again, where people are just excited to watch the different kinds of films, so then they will be funded, hopefully.
And without giving any spoilers about winners, what's been the most exciting thing for you about independent film cinema this year?
There were so many films that I liked that I watched. There's about 18, but I liked a lot of the fact that there was a lot of female directors, young female directors. There's a film called After Sun I really liked. There's a film called Blue Jean. I also really enjoyed the film about Emily Bronte. There's so many different things, but I think After Sun and Blue Jean were my two favourites.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You Guys!